Hello, I am sick. I am not feeling well, but I figured, why not make a video anyway? Today I wanted to talk about some things that we want to improve from For Liberty as we go into Heroes of the Galactic War. I like to have these milestones for myself, to have set goals of what I want to accomplish with every new project, and with Heroes of the Galactic War being kind of like a lot of little projects, all kind of bundled into the same series that will be ongoing. I figured it's a good time to lay those out as groundwork. So one of the things that I want to do is have more variety in storytelling, which is why I wanted to make the primary films in the series the War Bond films, because I feel like it gives more variety for storytelling, to where you can do more serious and gritty stuff, you can do more comedic funny stuff, have one be like a horror short, have another one be like a drama, like all these different things. Very much so like how Love, Death, and Robots is structured, or Secret Level, if you've seen either of those shows. I think being able to create with that kind of narrative structure, a lot like what we did for the Room 24 short, I really liked the way that came together on a short timeline, but also the quality of the writing and everything. That's kind of like what I would want to do. Obviously, make it all Helldivers with, more action and stuff, but really make it a lot like that, where it's a really concise and contained story that gives basically everything that we can to those specific war bonds. Whereas with For Liberty, I feel like it definitely explored a lot with just like the general idea of like who the Helldivers are, really leaned into that like fresh recruit mentality. But we want to explore more outside of that, and I feel like we're going to be able to do more narratively with the war bonds. All right, the next thing is an improved pipeline structure. Now, For Liberty definitely had the strongest pipeline of anything that we've done. Looking like, back on certain things, like New Frontiers, I don't even know how I made that show, because it was just so all over the place as far as pipeline goes. But we want to create a pipeline that is consistent, something that we can have be repeatable, but is also like fairly bulletproof in the way that it's set up, so that we can keep providing these films consistently, but we can also continuously improve on them, because that is a huge thing with any project that we do. We always want to step up our game a little bit. Like by the time I finished For Liberty, and this happens with every project, and it's just a good sign of growth. As soon as I was done with it, I was like, if I could go back and just redo everything, I would. So taking that as like the strong base, improving on it conceptually at this stage, and then being able to have that grow across the series would be super cool, and that's a goal of mine that I have to improve. The next thing is better face animation and character animation. So I feel like in For Liberty, aside from the throwing animations, like I've seen so many comments about, I feel like overall the character animation was pretty solid. There are definitely room for improvements with certain things. And I feel like not creating such a large scale project, having these films be shorter in nature will help a ton with that. But the human characters have always been lacking in our films. Again, I feel like the Red Dead Redemption film did the best of it. But there's always been issues or limitations of the technology of when those films came out. And even with For Liberty, there were some limitations there that we just couldn't get around. So that is something that I've taken a deep dive into to figure out, how do we improve this for the future, because it's something that I want to be better. I don't want any more floating heads in my film. And we figured out some pretty cool stuff. We actually showcased it a little bit on live the other night, which was all happening in real time, which was really cool. But having a method to have that fixed just goes miles in what we'll be able to do and make things look a lot more natural. I feel like probably the worst looking scene as far as like a character's head animation goes probably goes to when the sea soldier shows up. Which there were a ton of issues with that scene. I had to rebuild the environment by hand like 4 times, and that specifically, like there's just a very obvious like floating head syndrome going on. And we've now fixed that, which is super cool. And we want to be able to translate that for future films, so they just look that much better. And I feel like that will really help, on top of just, better hand cleanup on facial animation. And so with that, I definitely want to do more audience interaction as well. And I want to bring you guys into the process a lot more. On For Liberty, we did a live stream every single week where we just worked on like a small part of the film, not as much as we would on a day-to-day, but I wanted to make every live stream like have some intentionality behind what we were doing for it, while also not giving any spoilers, which was honestly like one of the big things. But I want to do more than that. I want to be able to interact with people more, and we did a live stream recently where members were able to chat and interact with Asif Blueberry live. And that is all thanks to us already working in Unreal Engine, but we want to continue to expand on that and be able to, show you guys animations like as we're putting them together, being able to like be in the world, because we're already using Unreal Engine. And this is an example of what that would look like being captured in real time. So this is me in a set in Unreal Engine. Right now, we only have the head movement, but in the future, we'd be able to also do the full body and be able to walk you through what the set looks like, different animations, stuff like that, all in this virtual environment, which would be super cool. And we can do that on a live stream because this is happening live via a webcam, just a cheap 720p webcam that I'm looking at right now. It feels kind of weird to say out loud like this, but yeah, in a more interactive way. And also being able to talk to and respond to you guys on live streams. So, yee. And also with that, one of the things that I want to start doing is phasing out the volunteer side of things. Obviously, we've built everything that we've done so far just by doing it in our spare time as volunteers. And I want to start phasing that out just so that we can get artists compensated, especially just like right now with the way that everything is in the world. I feel like being able to give people the opportunity to get paid for what they're passionate about in this capacity, and me being in a unique position to kind of set that up and have that be a legitimate thing. I want to be able to help these artists out because they've already given so much, and everybody on the team is like still willing to go an extra mile just to, see this thing come to fruition. But it's definitely something that over time, I definitely want to get Plot Coalition into a position just to where we're able to compensate those artists, and even for some of us, just make it a full-time thing so that we can keep delivering for you guys and make it somewhat sustainable for them as well. At least be, a reliable source of income potentially in the future. And with that, here comes the members plug. And right now, the best way to make that happen is to become a YouTube channel member. And I did want to answer a question that I've gotten a few times, which is why YouTube memberships specifically. And the main reason is because YouTube is pushing my channel right now. And as they see more members join, they're, pushing my channel out more. So becoming a channel member right now, or rewatching For Liberty, or engaging with our content, whatever it may be, YouTube is basically taking it as a sign of, oh, more people probably want to watch this guy's content. So let's go put it on blast on other people's feeds. And to push people off platform right now would kill that momentum. So kind of what I'm tentatively planning on is, while we're running the duration of this fundraising to January 31st, if we hit our goal by January 31st, fantastic, full show is greenlit. If not, we'll, have an alternative plan that we'll announce. But working towards that, right now having it be YouTube memberships is basically YouTube doing the free advertising for us. And then in the future, we'll see about opening up something like a Patreon or a Ko-Fi or something like that, so that, more money goes directly to the creators and the artists. But for right now, basically, when you become a YouTube member, it's basically telling YouTube to show my channel to more people, which in turn converts to more memberships and gets us closer to that goal. So for the time being, that's why it's set up that way. And then whenever we can get something like a Patreon set up, we'll be looking into that as an alternative for people who prefer that as an option. All right, so that's pretty much it. Again, I'm not feeling super great, so I'll probably edit this video pretty fast. Just be like, there you go. There's me sick. Yeah, go watch For Liberty again if you really want to. If you want, you could go rewatch For Liberty again. It's almost at 900,000 views, which is insane. It was at like 800,000 views when we started this campaign, so it's gotten another 100,000 views in the last 18 days or whatever. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Becoming a member, maybe. We'll see. All right, thanks guys. Thanks. Yeah.